summer, happy August. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center. We're going to get a little sing-along on here and see if you guys will join us this morning in a couple of tunes that you know. So the first one here is God in Everything. Every time I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. And I can feel it in my beating heart. God in everything. It's in every breath of life I take. God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. It's in every stranger's face I see God in everything. Brothers, sisters, family, God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. Mountain, valley, mountains free, God in everything. All creation, beautiful and free, God in everything. God in everything. God in Hey, that was great. Good job, you guys. Give yourselves a hand here. I'm going to see if I can find Sacred Love. I'm sure I can. But, it might take me. Oh.
She's on piano.
You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy grace. Such a holy way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
Well, while we are in this holy space, I would just like to take a few moments in silence for all those hearts that are breaking today in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio, and across the nation and throughout the world. We pray for peace. We pray for comfort. Amen. So, good morning, and welcome to everyone here, as well as those of us online, those who are joining us online, to Unity Spiritual Center, where our mission is transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference. My name is Karen Dunmore, and I am honored to be here today as your platform assistant. Please take a moment now to silence your cell phones, and before you do, please check in and tell the world you are here and let them know that they can tune into Unity Spiritual Center live online. We want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. I will say it once and then ask you to repeat it with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This morning we will hear from Dr. Gary, who will be sharing the Sunday message entitled, You Are the One, and Amber McKenzie, who will be leading the meditation. We are being blessed musically this morning by Sean and Tawny Wright, and let us stand together and sing our community song.
We're going to sing God You Are this morning, a little bit of Daniel Nabot to get us lifted up here. God you are, every mountain, God you are, every ocean, God you are, know, God, you are. Every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are. Every springtime, God, you are. Every snowfall, God, you are. Every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe. And your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you.
Good morning. Wow, we got a lot of faces out here today. Great. Oh, turn it right side up and then I can read it. Mark your calendars now. Oh, I forgot to tell you who I am. My name's Linda Tweedy, and I'm doing the announcements. And I have to tell you, I'm moving this weekend, so I haven't seen the news, so I have no idea what's going on in the world, and I'm a little scattered. But here's the announcements. The 7-week fall series. Mark your calendars now to be a part of a dynamic 7-week fall series, exploring the transformative book, What's in the Way is the Way, by Mary O'Malley. Beginning the week of September 8th, the Sunday messages will be based on the book. In addition, small groups will be forming to take the exploration deeper on a personal level. Stay tuned for more information outlining the variety of exciting and interesting ways that you can choose to participate. More information next week from Dr. Jane. And also on August 25th, we will have Will Tuttle here. Message, meditation, special music, and a workshop following the Sunday service. So hope to see you there. Thanks.
So next is the center update with Dr. Gary, an opportunity for me to share things that aren't normally conveyed during our community announcements. And so today I'm going to be sharing a video that shares information about Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, which is our online educational program that's open to everybody. Actually, people all over the world are taking Unity classes from Unity instructors all over, including Jane and me. And so here's a little video, and then I'm going to ask Amber and Karen to come up because they are also enrolled in the program. So here goes. Check it out.
I'm a student in the online interactive program Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, and it's not what some people think.
What I do is I get to connect with people heart to heart, mind to mind in spiritual growth.
Not just academically and mentally, but I get to grow spiritually.
We are going to be ministers, and we can do this in this amazing program where we get to know each other.
Education is the backbone of the Unity movement. The example set by founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore inspires Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute to carry on that legacy. For over 100 years, Unity has offered educational opportunities for those seeking spiritual growth, and you may be surprised to learn that it all began with Unity's Correspondence Course, a distance learning program. Today, We used advanced technology for a user-friendly, interactive online program for spiritual explorers, as well as for those seeking to become a credentialed Unity leader. We make it a breeze to manage your classes, connect with your classmates and instructors, all while experiencing the transformation of spiritual education.
I thought that there is no way I could do a program online.
As long as you know how to use a computer, you know how to use the program.
I would probably say that I was paralyzed with fear, and it has been the easiest thing I have done. And I'm so grateful that now I feel like I've come forward and I can engage in the 21st century in a way that I did not have those skills prior to this program.
As a globally accessible classroom, Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute consists of people from all walks of life, from all around the world sharing in discussion, planning, and implementing projects, and learning from world-class instructors sharing their passions and expertise. There are 3 streams of education offered at UWSI: the Spiritual Explorers Path, the Spiritual Education and Enrichment, or SEE Path, and the Ministerial Path. Spiritual Explorers offers a vast and exciting array of classes for anyone who wishes to enrich their spiritual journey. SEE courses are perfect for deepening your understanding of Unity teachings and inspiring spiritual growth. This is the first step for those who might seek credentials as a licensed Unity teacher or Unity minister. Ministry and Religious Studies graduate program builds your skills in all aspects of ministry. This program includes mentoring by professionals in ministry and on-site intensives to hone your skills. You will build friendships through this program that will serve you for your entire career in ministry.
All of us laughing and hugging and squealing.
Wow, you're real! I didn't know you were that tall, or I didn't know you were that short.
After I met my peers in person, it just made our relationship even deeper and stronger.
Check out the online catalog to get started on your spiritual education journey, or to look into becoming an instructor and inspire more people to discover their truth and evolve in their knowledge. So now we know. Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute is a place to learn in a flexible, interactive, online environment that fits your goals and your life.
Okay, so I'd like to have Amber come on up and talk about her experience with Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute.
Okay. I've got 90 seconds, so it won't be long. So far, I've taken 3 classes online, and they've been really amazing. I've taken the Foundations course, which for me was huge because I knew about Unity just from coming to church, but I knew some of the principles, but to have that foundation course was really powerful for me. Even just being a congregant, it didn't need to be, in an effort to be a minister. So for me, that was just great foundational information. And then I've taken Metaphysics 1, which, again, it's a metaphysical look at the Bible and different components of it. So for me, again, and I don't know if you've picked this up from what I've told you guys, but I have a little bit of an aversion to the Bible. So looking at it metaphysically has been made it more approachable to me. And so for that, I'm really thankful. And then I'm taking right now from Reverend David, the 12 powers. So I'm learning the 12 powers of Unity, the foundational kind of powers, I guess. And again, it really helps when I hear, Dr. Gary or Dr. Jane speak about, Unity foundations and the different principles that we teach. Having that knowledge has been really helpful for all aspects of my life, really. I mean, that's what the program is for. It's all aspects of your life, but especially my coming to Unity, my spiritual life, and then also, my goal to be a Unity minister someday. So that's my experience.
All right, great, thanks. Karen?
Okay, I am on the SEE path. As was mentioned up there, I kept looking to see if maybe one of the people that talked was one of my classmates, but they weren't. I completed 25 online classes just this year. I started in September 2017. Right from the very first one, I didn't have a real knowledge of Jesus, and my first class was Jesus teachings. Jesus kept coming to me in my dreams, and I thought, I better learn a little bit about this. So Anyway, I just got back from Unity Village, where I completed an intensive week, which was 40 hours of classwork. And I got to tell you, just being at Unity Village just fired up everything within me. I've been there before, but not at this level. I enjoyed every single one of my classes. I loved the people that I was with. I've taken a few of Reverend David's classes. Jane has done some, and that was always nice to be right here in the center doing classes. But it was fun to get to see everyone. There's so much knowledge in these classes, and there's such a deepening that it just opens up these doors that you didn't even know were there. And I never thought I was going to be going for my licensed Unity teacher. I just thought, I'll learn about Jesus. And then I thought, I'll take Metaphysics 1 and 2 together because that would be kind of fun. And then I started taking them 4 at a time. And now I ran out of classes. So. But I recommend this to everyone. I mean, just look at the catalog. The classes are phenomenal. And you really do bond, even though you're online, you really do bond with everyone. So anyway, thank you.
So finally, I just say, yes, the classes are open to everybody. And so if you just check it out and see what interests you and what calls you, and just be in that experience of just opening your hearts to your higher self and see if there might be a beckoning that you need to be paying attention to. All right, let's get ready for a meditation time.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love that heals us, that sets us free. There is only
Let us take some time now to remember who we are. As we gently close our eyes and connect to our breath. In many languages, breath means spirit. So let us become conscious of spirit in our breath as we slowly breathe in and out. Follow this breath of spirit as it swirls all around your physical body. Watch it as you take a deep breath in and out. Allow it to flow easily and effortlessly, as spirit does, throughout your entire body. Filling your lungs, your stomach, your heart, and every organ and every cell of your body with light. Imagine this breath of spirit as it grounds you deep into the earth below. Feel that deep connection to Mother Earth and allow it to transport you. And now take a moment to imagine breathing this light of spirit in and out through your heart space. Feel your heart energize and grow with each and every breath. And now, in your mind's eye, call forth a memory or a time in your life when you were consumed with the feeling of complete and total love. Maybe a treasured memory, a time in nature, an accomplishment, a cherished loved one, a child or pet. Just allow this feeling of total and complete love to return to you now. As you continue to breathe in and out of your heart, allow this feeling of love and appreciation to be amplified like a powerful light bulb radiating in every direction. Imagine this light radiating from each one of us as we collectively create a light field of coherence. A field so powerful, it travels at the speed of light, blanketing the entire planet with pure, healing, heart-centered love. Let us take this image of universal light, oneness, and connection as we go deeper into the silence. Sweet, divine, loving Spirit, we give thanks for this powerful collective field of heart coherence that has already transformed our world and everyone in it. And for this, we are so very grateful. And so it is. Amen.
In this moment, in this place, I remember.
So if you're wondering where Reverend Jane is right now, she's in with the kids. She's doing Sunday school. Yeah. Yeah, we all get drafted every now and then. So you could be next. So I'm going to be in with the Sunday school on August 25th, and we're going to be talking about airplanes. We'll be talking about flying, and they're going to... Well, it's finished, but it's not put together. So I'm gonna bring the tail section so that they can sort of see it. Yeah. It'll be cool. So I've been started a series on 5 principles of unity. It's kind of a foundations course. I'm doing a foundations course on what we espouse in unity, so that it's important that we understand what we stand for, what we're about, and to kind of appreciate that, because it really is about our own empowerment, our own capacity to make a difference in our world, because the world needs all the help it can get. So think of the 5 principles as not what we're telling you to believe this. In unity, we don't tell you to believe anything other than what belief does in consciousness. Belief becomes a way in which we begin to take in our life experience. So if our belief is the glass is half empty, then that's going to be our experience. But instead, we talk about what we espouse and invite you to consider the validity of that. And so the first principle that I talked about last week was there's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. And then there are the exceptions, right? We sometimes have exceptions. And so if you have an exception, and certainly we can think of some exceptions that live in our world experience, our human family's experience in recent days. If you have an exception in your life to the principle that it's all God, it's all good going on, then it's because we are not in alignment or fully embodying principle number 2. And principle number 2 states that our essence is of God, and therefore we are inherently good. This God essence was fully expressed in Jesus the Christ. So what we're saying, therefore, is that if there's just God going on, and it's all good, then our essence, who we are in our heart of hearts, is the same goodness. And as we look to the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, we see that he expressed that essence completely. Another way of looking at this that is a little bit more in alignment with how I like to think about things is that, let's think of it this way. Our essence is of God, and therefore we are inherently worthy. This God essence was fully expressed in Jesus as the one. So this is what I'm wanting us to consider, that as we aspire to live in the context of our spiritual essence, as Jesus demonstrated, then in essence we are the one unto our own life. Just as Jesus, as the Christ, was the Christ of God unto his world, we are the Christ of God unto our world. But we don't think in terms of the Christ. That's a little religious. And so we need to have practical ways in which we can experience what it's like to have our life committed to the expression of that essence. And that's what it means to be the Christ. A commitment to expressing that essence in every place in which that opportunity exists. And so to be the one unto our own life is what this second principle is all about. If there's all good, all God going on, then it means that we are essential to the awakening and betterment of the world. And this is important because we have to reconcile what's going on in the world with the essence that we're here to espouse and to bring forth, because it is what makes a difference in the presence of the horrific things that are happening. I'll unpack that a little bit more, because sometimes it's hard for us to wonder, well, if there's just God and all good, how is it possible that we have mass shootings? And I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to speak at anniversaries of 9/11 and try to reconcile this dimension. If there's only God, if it's all good, how is it possible that we have such horrific experiences in our human family? And so our journey through reconciling that principle is really to kind of reset ourselves in the context of who we really are. What is the truth of us? And then let's see how that truth of us gets kind of frustrated with being able to express and make a difference in the world. And so as we look at this principle that we are the one, that's the default place that we need to be in the context of really owning our spiritual selves, our essence, the reality that there's a dimension of us that is God made, and if we're not experiencing that sense of what it means to be in alignment with this greater sense of oneness and wholeness, bless you, and this capacity to be fulfilled and empowered, if we're not experiencing that, then we're living in a different reality. It doesn't deny the reality that there's just God, it just means that we're acting as if that's not the truth. And when we are in that way of living in separation, that's how it's possible for us to feel as if life is against us. Because when we're connected to our own sense of well-being and worth, we can have someone judge us, and we know it's not about us. But when we're feeling separate and apart, when we feel unworthy or out of not good enough, then we react to what's going on, and then we have evidence that there's something or someone out there against us, and how could I be the one if I'm having this experience? So these are important issues that we have to unpack and get kind of through, because the world is desperate for us being unto our own life the one. Because the truth is that the things that we see in the world could not happen if we knew our own worth. Could not happen if we knew that we were sent by God to be unto our world the one, through which that which is ours to express can be brought forth in this world. And so part of our challenge is to kind of recognize that we are sent here, we are here in this world on purpose, but we have to own that. Now, I don't know if you've ever said this to yourself before. I can't believe that I've got to be the one to do this. Have you ever said that? Well, of course, we say that a lot when we're handed experiences that, we don't want. I have to do this. I'm talking about being the one unto our own life, because there's nobody else. There is nobody else but you. And you are there right now. You are present in the moment when it can happen. When the divine presence shows up, you are the avenue through which it happens. And so we are called to be the one unto our life. And it's going to pull us and stretch us in ways that compel us to have to own our worthiness in order to be able to answer this call. And so it's important for us to reconcile the part of us that is pushing away this beckoning that you matter, you are important, you're needed, you're necessary. But that doesn't come alive until we open ourselves to being unto our life the one. Okay, I guess I'm it this time. So, there's a story about, I got the story right here. I don't read, so I'm just going to have to kind of look at this, pretend I know what this is talking about. So there's this monastery that went into decline, sort of like all the churches that are happening right now. 9 out of 10 churches are in decline. And so the decline meant that there were the new monks were leaving, they were dissatisfied. The villagers from town weren't paying attention to what was going on. It seemed like it was dead. And though the elderly monks that were left over were complaining about all the things that were wrong, who wasn't showing up, and why things that were the way that they were. And the abbot was at a loss to know what to do. The abbot had a friend, a rabbi, that retired and lived near the monastery, and so he visited the rabbi and asked him if he had any ideas as to what might stop the decline. And so the rabbi said, well, I got to tell you that the Messiah is among you. And the abbot said, what do you mean? How's it possible? He was just thinking about Brother Samuel or Brother Albert and how awful and stinky they are, and how the whole dynamic of their monastery was so negative and so impossible to imagine that among them was the Messiah. And so for instance, they said, surely not Brother Albert. He's always muttering to himself, and when he's not muttering to himself, he's being rude. But then he's always the first to look after us when we're sick. What about Brother Leo? He's always dirty and he smells bad too. And then again, because he's working out in the field and he's cultivating those delicious vegetables that we all like. And I can't believe it's Brother Thomas. He spills ink all over the desk where we write out the scriptures, but yet his drawings and decorations of the scripts are so vivid and beautiful. The point is that as they wondered amongst themselves how it would be possible that someone among them could be the Messiah, they all of a sudden started noticing different things about each other. And well, maybe Brother Samuel is, but maybe, and so the whole shift of being in that wonderment that the Messiah is among us began to shift the energy. Bless you. And then new people started noticing how people felt differently. And then all of a sudden the monastery started attracting younger individuals interested in commitment to a spiritual path. And eventually the monastery thrived. And so the story, as you can imagine, is all about acting as if we're in the presence of the Messiah and being willing to see what that reveals, as we're willing to be in the experience of knowing that among us is the one. Now, the word Messiah means the anointed one. We, in the religious tradition, it could mean Savior, but we back that away and see that it is the anointed one, the one that is here to mirror our sense of worthiness, our sense of capacity to be unto our own life, the avenue through which God expresses. Remember, we are the way of God, or we're in the way of God. And so as we recognize this, that we're living in the presence of Spirit, but it is a veil unto us because we're seeing through the eyes of separation, through our own sense of not enough, through our own sense of inadequacy or unworthiness. But when we eliminate those filters, those limiting beliefs, all of a sudden we can see the possibility of God among us. So this morning, Jane, I come down the stairs and I'm still thinking about my talk, and Jane says, well, how do you find the Messiah in the shooter? How do you find the Messiah in the shooter? And you know, you can't answer that question in the context of trying to make it right or wrong, good or bad. You have to answer it in the context of if we are really coming, if we really own the truth of who we are, if we really know our worth. Think about this. Would it be possible for anybody who really knew who they are, their worth, their essence? Could it be possible for any individual with that knowledge to do such an act? No. And so the only way we can make sense of this, and the only way that we can make it mean something other than the tragedy that it is, and it be something that redeems a part of us that is being lost, is for us to know that the real issue is we're living in the disconnect. We're living as if we're separate and apart from God and not aligned with the field of infinite possibilities that is seeking to birth through us a new world. And so part of the struggle that we have is to not get get drawn into the horror of what's happening, but to get drawn into what is ours to do in the presence of that outward reflection that we have yet to really accomplish this work. And so we're in a journey. We're a part of a process, an unfolding, a birth. And we're all on the transition team. And we have to hold a kind of watch that doesn't draw us into being modulated by the story of separation. We have to hold on to the principle of our oneness, of our connection, of interbeing, of our relationship to all of life, and know that as we extricate our awareness out of this programming of the belief in separation, that there's a different reality that we can tap into. Okay, I'm going to tell this story. I've told this story before. Okay, go back one. So, 2002, I had a near-death experience. I ate something I was allergic to, and I went into anaphylactic shock. And that means that your larynx, your windpipe swells shut, and you could suffocate to death if you don't have any support. And so here I was in an experience where I was suffocating to death, and I was welcoming the experience because my previous wife, Nan, had just passed 3 weeks earlier of brain cancer. And so in the throes of my own bereavement, suffocating to death, I heard a voice. I heard her voice. And she said, "Gary, you're not going to follow me. You have work to do." And so here I was trying to be in this experience of still suffocating to death, but knowing that I was going to recover. And then I heard a different voice. A voice as plain, as clear as the sound of my voice is to you right now. And that voice said, "Gary, you are the one to bring peace on earth." So what do you do with a voice like that? Oxygen deprivation. I'm having a peak experience. I'm hearing things. And it was so interesting to watch myself push away this voice. And to kind of, and it was interesting because at the time I was director of peacemaking services for the entire Unity movement. And here I was pushing away this voice that was calling to me to be the one. And so in that moment I said, okay, because there's no instruction manual for being the one, so no one knows how to be the one. You just have to be willing to be it. And you also recognize that you're not the one all by yourself, but you still have to be willing to be the only one and to still make that intention. So I said yes to Spirit. And the very next day, I received a phone call from an organization called the Omni Center for Peace, Justice, and Ecology. And the man's name was Dick Bennett, and he asked me, because I was director of peacemaking services for the entire Unity movement, what was Unity's position regarding the impending war in Iraq? And in that moment, as it is on the slide, I said, Unity does not take stands. We have no position. And immediately at that moment, my heart sank. I got sick to my stomach. How is it possible that we, having one of the most profound transformative teachings on the planet, how is it possible that we're still not in the conversation as to whether or not it's okay to use war as a way of managing our problems? And so in that moment of regret and embarrassment and my own personal anger over not having, our movement was not a voice in the conversation, I contacted the leaders of the Association of Unity Churches, as it was called that time, and interestingly enough, Claire Austin was on the board of trustees as the chair, Claire was the former minister of this ministry. And I pleaded with them for us as a Unity movement to have some statement about what's happening in the world. And so I got back a word, and they said, well, could you please propose something for us to consider? You know what happens when you're the one that complains? So, okay, I didn't know what our position should be. I just knew that not having a position was the issue. And so I sat on my computer, and all of a sudden, the Spirit flowed through me. And 2 statements came out. I sent them both off. And immediately I got word back that they appreciated my contribution, and they actually adopted one of my statements. They didn't adopt my favorite one, though. Okay, and that statement went like this. Remember, this is about Unity's stance regarding the impending war in Iraq. Don't blow up shit or kill people. They really liked that one, but they couldn't go with it. And instead, they went with this statement. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names of God, the many paths of God, the many ways of worshiping God, for we know that there is only one power and one presence that is God, and that God loves us all equally. It is the position of the International Association of Unity Churches and Unity Worldwide headquarters to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God during these challenging times and pursue peace, not war, because this is what honors the God of all of our faith traditions. Unity stands for peace in our lifetime. That's what we stand for. And we say this statement on Sundays, every Sunday, as we before we begin to welcome and greet everyone. And it's important because this intent for inspiring people to really make a difference in the world lives in the context of our knowing our purpose, knowing our worth, knowing who we've come here to be. And the reason why that's important is because that's what's going on in the world is calling us to be that presence. And so as you are engaged in this wonderment of looking at how you're being called right now to be the one unto your own life, you know, as we as a ministry recognize that, you know, we're evolving into a ministry practice that has the fulfillment of purpose as our purpose. In other words, transforming lives. Every one of us in this community, that's what we're after. A life transformed, because once we free ourselves from all those limiting beliefs, our sense of not enough, a sense that we don't matter, all of a sudden what we have left is the knowing that we are the one unto our life. And so this is integral to our being able to be a force that makes a difference in the presence of all the craziness that is happening in our world today. So finally, I want to close with going over the discussion questions for those of you who are using our conversation during our Sunday talks as a part of your interaction in your small group. So I'd like you to begin with the question: Have you ever talked yourself out of being the one? Think about that. Did you have an experience that was calling you to be the one, and you talked yourself out of it? Have you ever had an experience like that? I think many of us have. I remember one experience when I was young, driving across Midwest in the middle of a snowstorm. It was late at night, and the visibility was very poor. And as I was driving along this road, there was no other traffic. There was this person out like this. And I didn't stop. Now that was 30 years ago, but it haunted me. It haunted me that I failed to be the one when there was the voice that said you could stop. And in many ways, that inspired me to really open myself to seeing that, you know, as a part of my purpose, I have been called to be the one in so many ways in my life that I recognize it all is all connected to that moment. And so if you can find a place where you can connect to your moment where you failed to be the one and use that moment use that moment to bring a sense of presence to whatever you're having, and always be open to being able to know that I'm here to make a difference. And when that possibility emerges, I'm going to be ready for it. And the second question is to share your aspirations for making a difference in any aspect of life or arena within which you're called to make impact. So as we get in touch with our natural sense that I know I'm meant for something, and we really kind of explore that, that begins to open our consciousness, and our higher self begins to convey through us what's possible. And we can activate that by getting heart-centered and asking our heart what is ours to do that can positively impact some aspect of the world. And then finally, complete the following sentence. I know that I am the one unto my life because. I'll tell you, I'll answer it for you right now. Or at least I'll answer for myself. How does that sound? I know that I'm the one unto my life because sometimes I'm stuck. How many of you have ever been stuck in your life? Stuckness is a symptom that you're ready to be the one unto your life. Think about that. God bless you. You are the one.
Thank you, Gary. There is no place in the world I'd rather be than right here, right now. It's the message, it's the music, it's the community. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, one life. So whoever you are, and wherever you are in your journey of transformation, you are very welcome here. We would especially like to welcome anyone who is here for the first time. If this is your first time here with us and you feel comfortable raising your hands, our ushers have a gift package for you. Well, there's one. Anyone else? Mary's bringing you a gift package. On the outside of the package, there's a form you can fill out to be added to our mailing list for our weekly e-news and our quarterly newsletter. If you're interested, please fill it in. You can drop it in the love offering basket or at the bookstore after the service. If you take this package to our barista stand, you'll have a free latte today, or whatever drink of your choice you can get at the barista stand. And you can get a CD of today's service. If you have any questions or like a name tag, please visit our information desk and speak to one of our welcome team members. We are glad you're here. So, we would also like to welcome our millions of online viewers. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now it is time to welcome and greet each other with a handshake, a high five, a wave, a namaste, whatever works for you. And we begin with our welcome song.
We're going to do the gathering song. If you can stand, that would be great.
We Now that's what I call a gong. Gary, you may have made a mistake. I got the hammer. My name is Jim Sledge, and I have the privilege of being the treasurer on your board of trustees, and this is a time of our service where we appreciate the community giving, and we are a giving community. We are a community of oneness, and I love what Gary's doing in going back through the principles. I know those principles, but I like to hear them again through different ways, and it reverberates differently every time I see it and hear it. So thanks, Gary, I appreciate that. And again, this community is my family, and I think we all feel that community and that oneness. And it is tough work to be the one. I know that it is. I don't do it very well sometimes. Well, most of the time. But as we do it together, I think that's where the power comes, and that's where our ability to influence and inspire the world. So let's take gratitude into our hearts as we say our prosperity blessing. Together, I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share.
So we have Kids Week coming up this week, and we're going to do a neat, fun ukulele session. One of the things we're going to talk about is 4 chords. I think the last time I was here, I sang that Superman song. Using 4 chords. I'm going to do another cool song today using 4 chords with 1 substitute chord. I'm not going to explain that to you today, but
It's 4.5.
It's 4.5 chords. That's very good. And how this song fits with all what's happening in our world today is one that I chose to let you try to figure out.
Was a secret chord that David played and that pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the 4th, the 5th, a minor fall, a major lift, a ballad key, posing, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from her lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I've
seen this room and I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Was a time when you remember what's really gone on below, but now you never show. Remember when I moved with you and the Holy Ghost moving too, and every breath we use, well, maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who I dream of. But it's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold, it's a broken heart.
Bless these gifts as they go forth to bless the world. Bless each and every hand that gives so generously in each heart, in time, in talent, and in abundance of financial gifts. We did this, our mission statement in these ways, in all the ways we do it, and that is transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference. That was beautiful. Okay, I don't even know where I am. Okay. Our chaplains today are Diane Hunter and Kathy Fisher. Diane, I guess, has been holding the entire service in prayer, which one of our chaplains does every service. If you have anything heavy on your heart that you would like to celebrate, you can pray with one of our chaplains, and they will hold it in prayer with you. They will be at the front of the sanctuary right after the service. Thank you for your service today. You can also fill in a prayer request form found in the seat pocket in front of you and put it in one of our prayer boxes. There's one at the back of the sanctuary and one in the atrium. Our prayer team will pray with you for 7 days, and then the prayer requests will go to Unity Village, to Silent Unity, to be prayed over for 30 days, 30 additional days. You know of someone who is in the hospital and has requested a visit from one of our chaplains, please fill in the visitation request form in the seat back pocket and place it in the prayer box. I hear a child, but I don't see anyone. It's time to welcome the children.
We are singing for the stars of night. 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 We are Whoa, we are singing for His love is alive. We are singing. Whoa, we are singing for His love is alive. We are singing for His joy 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 is alive. We are singing. Whoa, we are singing for His joy is alive. We are singing. Whoa, we are singing for His joy is alive. We are singing for His joy is alive.
If you have a birthday in the month, there it is, I'm here. In the month of August, please stand while we sing the birthday song. Ah, there's one. A couple more, wow. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow. It's a love light in your eyes wherever you go. Happy birthday. Okay, we are very grateful for all our young people here at Unity Center. Let's take a moment to bless our children, youth, and those in service to our youth ministry. Be the love you are, sing the song you hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. And now for ourselves. Be the love we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. Okay, invite. Has every child found a parent? Okay. For our closing prayer, we all stand as you are able and join. Jane's here. Join together for our closing prayer, followed by the peace song. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is.
And all is well. And that's the truth.
Can I hold your hand?
Peace on